Well, good evening. It is me. It's Tuesday, the 4th of June, 2013. It is indeed. And it's 9 o'clock, so that can only mean one thing on a Tuesday. Yes, indeed. It's Vaper Scene.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.
Yes, it's me. It's Tuesday, 9 o'clock, Vaper Scene on Vapour Trail's TV. And we've got loads to get through in this show today, tonight. So I'm not going to dilly-dally and digress a lot like I normally do. But I do try, don't I? First bit of news is that this evening, about 2.5 hours ago, I got an email from a Mrs. Linda McCavin. And Linda McCavin has said yes to a meeting. So I'm trying to thrash out when and where, and I will bring you that, hopefully, soon. So fingers crossed on that one. But finally, I get a reply. Thank you very much, Mrs. McCavin. And you'll see Mrs. McCavin a bit later on in part 2, because I've put together a little bit of VT of the ENVI meeting last week. I've cherry-picked, as they do, Anyway, we're going to start this week with a little Vapour Trail, or what I recorded earlier on today. See you in a couple. Good afternoon. How are we? It's actually Tuesday, so this is Tuesday the 4th of June, and I've just got back home from being over in Leeds today, doing some bits as I have to do, and I thought I'd wait until I got back and I was parked up to do my little piece to camera today, and then there's less road noise, and I get a chance to concentrate on what I'm saying instead of concentrating on driving, as I should be doing anyway, don't you think? Yes. Anyway, today I've got a few things. I'm still using the SVD, which I showed you last week, with the iClear 30. Callum did point out to me last Wednesday that on the little section, the little screen, is actually a piece of plastic. And I hadn't realised it was a piece of plastic, so I've taken it off now, and you get a very nice mirrored finish effect on the screen without the plastic there. So if you do buy one, take the plastic off, and it's not actually that apparent. You need to get your finger right underneath there to get the plastic off. I tend to leave plastic on things. I have my hands-free kit here, and the screen has got a plastic protector on it, and I keep it on, and that's simply because I don't like things with scratches on. But there you go. Anyway, today, juice-wise, I have some of Callum's juice. This is RY4 Gold from Healthy Vape, and it is 18 milligram, and it's 70 VG, 30 PG this time. And I've been using it for about 4 days, thereabouts. I finished off all the caramel vanilla macchiato, which I love. It's really, really nice, and I must get some more, but I might get some double strength from Callum. And this is lovely and clear in the old iClear 30, and I've kind of had trouble working out what the flavours are. Flash there from the sunshine and the vape. Yes, the dominating flavour for me on this RY4 Gold is tobacco. The difference with this is the throat hit is slightly less, and the vapour is slightly more. but the flavour is quite nice. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. So I'm going to continue with this over the next couple of days. I've got 3 mil because I've just refilled this, so I'll probably use this by tonight by the time you see this. Whether or not I'm going to refill again, I've got half a bottle. Yes, so it's rather nice. Not unlike Virginia tobacco. I'm not getting any kind of biscuit or caramel as you do with other RY4s. This is particularly RY4 Gold. So it's kind of like a Golden Virginia vape, really. Yes, not bad at all. I must just comment on a news story that I've just heard on the radio when I was driving back, and that is Wetherspoons are going to open a pub on the motorway at a services. Really? You're going to open a pub on a motorway services? Now, forgive me if I'm being a little bit cynical here, but don't you think that might just encourage drivers to have some alcohol while they're driving? You know, they pull off the motorway, they go for a burger or a Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever it is. In my case, I go to Starbucks. But go to JD Wetherspoons, down a few pints, get back in the car, off you go. I can't see the logic. They won't allow e-cigs, but they are opening a pub at a motorway services. I don't know what chat are going to think about that. I think they're probably going to think the same as me. What a bizarre idea. And how it's been allowed, I don't know. I think it's just begging for somebody to get drunk at a services and then go and have an accident, isn't it? In my opinion. In my humble opinion. Yes. Anyway, other news stories today. On the Twitter feed this morning, before I left for work, I always have a little look and see what's been going on. And I saw an article that Dave Dawn had tweeted in relation to Cambridgeshire Police, and they are looking at letting their officers use e-cigs in their patrol cars. Obviously not when they've got customers in the back, because that would be a bit silly. But I actually think that's a good idea. I mean, let's face it, you know, the police are doing a job, they got to smoke too, they can't smoke in their patrol cars, although I have seen in the past sly fags going on with windows open, not only in police cars but in white vans, you know, with the livery on the side, where it is technically against the law to smoke in a company vehicle because that is your workplace, but e-cigs not covered under that ban. However, with so many companies saying you can't use e-cigs in your workplace, even though technically it's not illegal, they're including that within the cigarette ban, and they're saying you've got to go out and vape outside with the smokers, which, you know, is not ideal, and in some senses it's not fair to those people who wish to vape instead of smoking, and they have to then go and vape with the smokers and then inhale second-hand smoke. You know, is there a possible legal challenge there? I don't know, but I'm all for the police force saying that's not a bad idea. Let's let our staff use electronic cigarettes when they're in the patrol cars, when they haven't got any customers, any prisoners, and certainly not in front of the public. But you know, the whole idea, I think, is probably a good one. The other one I saw was in relation to a hospital in Bolton, and they are looking at the whole smoking shelter issue. So have a look at that one as well. I'll be putting that on the screen in a second, and we can talk about that. Anyway, I'm going to go inside now and get a brew and edit this piece of video so it's ready for tonight's show. So I'll see you in a bit.
Yes, there you go. And this is the Wetherspoon story. And I heard it on the radio. I thought, I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to have a look when I get back. And there it is. License to serve alcohol between 0800 and 0100. So you can go for a pint at 8 o'clock in the morning. I wish I could see what chat was saying, but as you know, my bandwidth is so tiny, it makes it a bit difficult. Yeah, I just find it a bit weird. It's just like when you go on the car ferries and it's 7 o'clock in the morning and people are there nicking pints, and then they're getting in the car at the other end in France and driving off, and they've got even worse drink drive laws than we have. Anyway, there you go. And then the police story is that one in the Cambridge News. And finally, we had the Bolton News and the for or against smoking shelters in hospital grounds. Because, as you know, a lot of hospitals, probably 95% of all hospitals, you can't smoke on the grounds at all. But you still see them congregating around the doors. So would it be better to get them away from the doors and away from people who don't want to inhale the smoke? But there you go. Another one to think about, isn't it? Now, I was going to take an early ad break, but what I'm going to do is show this little bit of video that was sent in to Dave Dawn, and Dave sent it down to me. And it's from Super 7, and it's some high-speed vaping. Have a look.
Hello. Right, I've got a little video here for you. It's something I promised to do for chat some time ago, last year. Anyway. It's about some high-speed vaping. I was hoping to hit about 100, but 96 in the end because I was running out of runway, or I thought I was, but I wasn't. Never mind. Here we go. Hope you enjoy it.
There you go. Thanks a lot, Doug. I like that. I had to throttle back to see what I did there. I had to throttle back the volume quite a bit because it was well noisy when he was going down that runway. But yeah, a nice bit of 96 mile an hour speeding and vaping legally. Yay! Okay, we're going to head into the ads now, and then when we come back, we've got this week's Show Is Yours, and we've got some VT from that I scalped from the ENVI meeting last week. So I will see you in 2.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.
iVapour and iVapour Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVapour.co.uk and iVapour-elixir.co.uk. iVapour and iVapour-elixir.co.uk are proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv. she? Because you want one.
Now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vapour Trail's TV. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.
And we're back in the room. Hello. It's about time to have some gratuitous photos of vaping. You know what it is. It's time for this week's Show Us Yours gallery, and then we'll have the winner. And there's some nice little mods in these. Got some new ones that came in this week, and one that just made it in. I'd already done the video, and then I went back and checked the email, and there was one there. So here is this week's Show Us Yours.
And now it's time for Show Us Yours, sponsored by Flavour Art UK. Show Us Yours, sponsored by Flavour Art UK.
I just love that funky music. I found it last week and I thought, oh, I'll have that on next week, Show Us Yours. One of Kevin MacLeod's great tracks. We use a lot of Kevin MacLeod's music because it is royalty free. Yay. And it's really good. So I might use that again next week. I don't know. I might just search another one. Anyway, let's see who has won this week. And it's Mark Slorer. And I hope I've pronounced that correctly. With his little collection of mods there. I like that one at the back that looks like it's one of those drinking horn type things. Yeah, quite funky. Anyway, I will be in contact after the show, Mark, and I will tell you how you get hold of your bottle of juice, courtesy of John over at Flavour Art UK. And if you would like to go into the draw for next week, that's what you do. Send an email to vaporscene@vapourtrails.tv. Get it to me by 12 midday on Tuesday, and you will be included in that week's gallery. And I think I'll have to make the pictures shorter so it doesn't last. It doesn't keep getting longer and longer and longer with the whole show. So yeah, that's what you need to do. And I will put you into the draw, and you may well win a bottle of juice. Okay, moving on. We're going to go to a bit of VT, and I've picked some bits from, I've cherry picked, as the European Parliament seem to do, and other people seem to do. So I've cherry picked some bits from last week's ENVI meeting. Wait till the last section. It's marvellous. All I've got to do now is find it. There it is. It's coming up now. Get some 45mg or stronger and some alcohol. See you in a minute.
I'm still very critical of this Commission text and of the extremist position taken by our rapporteur. Now, as Madame Rosbach said, perhaps the next thing we're going to hear is that caffeine's dangerous, so it's going to be banned from coffee, and that's what I fear, really. If you look at this text with the amendments, it really is calling for the death of smokers, I think. Can I remind you, we're still talking about legal products, so we really do need to we shouldn't really try and go too far here. Let's call a spade a spade. If we look at passive smoking, which affects particularly children and pregnant women, we have 354, 54, 55. These are looking at this issue, and they're particularly important. It's not an issue of whether or not you can smoke, but whether you are forcing somebody else to smoke and then harming their health. I am in favour of making these products safer. I can go along with it. I don't want people to start smoking as young people either, but there are laws already existing in member states protecting the health of young people. Member states are already involved in this. This goes for other products as well, such as alcohol. So we can't necessarily just use a European regulation to do this.
Dealing with the issues of characterising flavours, where the Commission proposed to allow certain additives or flavouring as long as they do not produce a so-called characterising flavour, I would favour a complete ban on additives which are superfluous to the manufacturing process, and this includes any additive which could increase the attractiveness of the tobacco product.
Shisha pen, which has no tobacco, no nicotine, just flavour and vapour. But there's two problems with those. First of all, that we don't know what these flavourings actually do health-wise. There's not enough research on them. And secondly, they are very appealing to young children because they're shiny pens in pink and green. They have a lovely little LED light at the end of it, so when you inhale, the little LED light actually lights up. Well, that's fantastic to young children, and we have children as young as 8 using these and having access to these. And in my view, they're an ideal stepping stone for the industry to get people into real smoking. And currently the legislation doesn't cover these. And we have to deal with this issue. And as far as I'm concerned, we actually ban them, like the chocolate cigarettes, which I would also like to formally ban.
So I think that we don't want a nanny state where everything's forbidden, but we do need to try and work together with each other to move forward in the right direction. And I think that we want to reduce cigarette consumption, and those cigarettes which are still smoked or the tobacco products which are still used must be as safe as possible.
Years ago, when we started talking about smoking bans in public places, I can remember the outcry. Oh, people will never accept this is terrible. Who would introduce smoking in public places again? Well, in my country, UKIP party, UK Independence Party, want to introduce smoking in bars. But the public do not want it. Nobody wants it.
For example, one of my own amendments seeks to tackle the use of sugar in tobacco products. I don't think it should be granted an exemption. Sugar is clearly an ingredient which seeks to increase the palatability of tobacco products and therefore increases its attractiveness. The WHO guideline states that we should ban or restrict ingredients which may be used to increase palatability, and to that end I know there has been concern about potential challenges in the event of some people supporting or voting for menthol to be retained, and some of that perhaps could be applied if we retain sugar. Any flavour or taste, whether or not it is characterising, should not be permitted. If we are to leave the best chance, or to have the best chance of dissuading people, especially young people, from initiating tobacco usage, I would prefer to see a positive list, and to that end we have co-signed an amendment from one of the other MEPs of additives which may be used in tobacco products. Only additives which have received exempt approval should be admitted. I'm sure many of the other issues have been covered here today, and once again I want to thank Linda McCavan for all her hard work and efforts, and again thank you, Chair, for your indulgence.
There has been a lot of lobbying around. People are trying to apply pressure to us, and I think there's a lot at stake for industry, and I think that legislators here in Parliament and in the Member States do have to take their role seriously. Otherwise this could have seriously negative consequences for industry and the sector. We've seen this with Dalligate, for example.
I've seen the poster for this convention sponsored by the rapporteur, and what that says, this will be a state where everything is legislated, everything's bad for you. Now, giving out the right information at school level, well, that doesn't happen in Italy. I don't know if that happens elsewhere in the EU, but you don't have courses in schools talking about the dangers of smoking or other things. You have a little bit, but not much really. So let's give out information, and when people are 18, they can choose what they want to do.
It's strange to have less accessibility than cigarettes. I don't have to repeat the facts around. You all know that snus is dramatically less harmful, and that Sweden has the least number of tobacco-related harm, even though we consume as much tobacco as the rest of the world, and that the problem of tobacco is the combustion. Smoking kills. It's not that snus is good for you. It's just so extremely dangerous to smoke that anything else is dramatically less harmful. You know, don't suck on an exhaustion pipe of a car either. It will kill you as well. And that's the reason that it's strange to ban one of the ways that doesn't have the same health effect.
If you are an adult, then you should be able to decide whether you want to smoke a cigarette. It shouldn't be legislated. If you want to smoke a long cigarette, a thin one, a short fat one, then you should be able to. We shouldn't be telling people what to do.
Talk of nanny states from the ECR group and things like this. Nobody wants to bring back smoking in restaurants and bars, and I think Mrs. Gardini said this. Huge impact on public health in all our countries. So let's be brave, let's take the bold decisions that we need to take, and we have taken as legislators in the past, and let's see the number of smokers reduced in the future.
On e-cigarettes, I just want to say it should be treated like every other smoking cessation product, in my view, and you know, nobody will change my mind on that.
Yes, there you go. That was a little bit that I gleaned from the ENVI meeting last week, having watched the whole thing. It was long, as many of you did, because Dave streamed it out. But yes, the bit that I edited with Glennis, this is the bit that is unedited.
And, you know, nobody will change my mind on that.
No, it wasn't. Yes, she's not for turning, is she? Glennis is not for turning. But, you know, we've still got to fight the fight, and we will get there, I hope. Anyway, it's 9:31. I've gone a bit over. Sorry, Cat. Tomorrow night on VT Talk, I can't tell you what's going on because Dave isn't 100% sure. So I'm not going to give you any indications because I don't know. But on Thursday on a Haze Hour, Dave has a try at dripping. And if I look at my Skype, it says, and fails mightily. So that's worth tuning in for. And I should be tuning in Scotland, for I am going up in the morning, back on Friday, and then I'm down in Birmingham at the weekend. So it's going to be a bit of a busy week. But I'm sure I can do some filming in those places and bring you something for next week's show. So that has been this week's Vapour Scene. Don't forget to tune in to Dave's show on Wednesday and Thursday, Dave K on Sunday with Dave's Tackle Box. The boys are back, hopefully with no glitches, on Monday, and I will see you next week, my friends. Bye bye. Vapour Scene is proudly sponsored by Health e-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.